If you're waiting on your tax refund right now, you're definitely not alone. Millions of Americans are in the same boat, refreshing their bank apps and wondering when that money is finally going to hit their account. And let's be honest, for most people, this isn't just some bonus cash. This is real money that's already been planned and budgeted for. Maybe it's going toward debt, home repairs, or just catching up on bills that have been piling up. Whatever the case, you want your refund and you want it as quickly as possible. So let's talk about what's actually happening with your 2026 tax refund, how long it really takes, and what you can do to speed things up or fix problems if they come up. When does the IRS actually send refunds? Here's the thing, the IRS opened up tax season for 2026 on January 26th. That means if you filed your return electronically right when the season started and you chose direct deposit, you're looking at about 3 weeks, give or take. The official line from the IRS is that most refunds get processed within 21 days, but that's calendar days, not business days, so weekends and holidays count. Now, if you filed a paper return, we need to have a different conversation. Paper returns take significantly longer. We're talking 4 to 6 weeks at minimum, and sometimes even longer if the IRS is dealing with a backlog. Why? Because someone literally has to open your envelope, scan your documents, and manually enter your information into the system. It's slow, it's outdated, and honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons people don't get their refunds on time. The average refund last year was hovering around $2,900, which is not pocket change. This year, depending on changes in your income, deductions, or credits, your refund could be bigger or smaller. Some families are seeing refunds over $4,000 or $5,000, especially if they qualify for things like the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Child Tax Credit. How to track your refund. Like a pro. Okay, so you filed. Now what? The absolute best way to check on your refund is through the IRS's Where's My Refund tool. You can find it on irs.gov, or you can download the IRS To Go app, which does the same thing but right from your phone. If you e-filed, your return should show up in the system within 24 hours after the IRS accepts it. Sometimes it takes up to 48 hours, but that's pretty rare. Once it's in there, you'll see one of 3 statuses: return received, refund approved, or refund sent. Now, if you mailed in a paper return, don't panic if you don't see anything for a few weeks. It legitimately takes about 4 weeks just for your return to get into the system and show up in the tracker. So if you filed on paper and you're checking the tool 2 days later, you're not going to see anything yet. Just give it time. One thing that's actually improved this year is how clear the status updates are. The IRS used to give these vague, confusing messages that didn't tell you anything useful. Now the tool is much better at explaining exactly where your return is in the process and whether there's a problem that needs your attention. Why some refunds get held up longer. Here's where things get a little frustrating for some people. If you claimed the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Additional Child Tax Credit, your refund is legally required to be delayed. This isn't the IRS being difficult. It's actually federal law. Congress passed this requirement to give the IRS more time to verify these credits and prevent fraud. So even if you filed your return on January 27th, the day after tax season opened, your refund won't be sent before early March. In fact, the IRS has stated that most people with these credits should expect to see their refund around March 3rd or later, assuming everything checks out and they use direct deposit. I know it's annoying, especially when you filed early specifically to get your money faster, but there's nothing you or anyone else can do about this delay. It's baked into the law. What causes even longer delays? Beyond the legally required holds, there are other reasons your refund might take longer than expected. The most common one is errors on your return. If the IRS finds a mismatch between what you reported and what they have on file, like a difference in your W-2 income or a discrepancy with a 1099 form, your return gets pulled for manual review. This is not a quick process. We're talking weeks or even months in some cases, depending on how complicated the issue is and how backed up the IRS is at that moment. Identity verification is another big one. If the IRS thinks there's a chance your return might be fraudulent, or if someone else has already filed using your social security number, they'll freeze your refund until they can confirm your identity. This usually involves getting a letter from the IRS asking you to verify who you are, either online or by phone. It's a hassle, but it's there to protect you. Amended returns also take longer. If you filed your original return and then realized you made a mistake and had to file an amendment, you're looking at a much longer wait. Amended returns can take 16 weeks or more to process. The direct deposit advantage. Let me be really clear about this. If you're not using direct deposit, you're making a mistake. The IRS has been phasing out paper checks since last fall, and they're strongly encouraging everyone to switch to electronic payments. And here's why you should listen. Paper checks are over 16 times more likely to get delayed, lost, or stolen compared to direct deposits. 16 times. That's not a small difference. Plus, even after the IRS mails your check, you still have to wait for it to arrive. Then you have to take it to the bank or deposit it through your app, and then you have to wait for it to clear. With direct deposit, once the IRS sends your refund, it usually hits your account within 5 business days, often sooner, and you don't have to do anything. It just shows up. The key here is to make absolutely sure your routing number and account number are correct when you file. Double check them, triple check them. One wrong digit and your refund could end up in someone else's account or get sent back to the IRS, which means even more delays. What to do if you're still waiting? If it's been more than 21 days since you e-filed or more than 6 weeks since you mailed your return and you still don't have your refund, it's time to take action. First, check the Where's My Refund tool again. Make sure there's no message about needing to verify your identity or provide additional information. If there is, handle it immediately. The longer you wait, the longer your refund gets delayed. If the tool doesn't give you any useful information, you can try calling the IRS refund hotline at 800-829-1954. Fair warning, wait times can be long, especially during peak tax season. You might be on hold for an hour or more, but sometimes it's the only way to get real answers. Another option is to set up an IRS online account. This lets you view your tax records, see transcript information, and track your refund status all in one place. It's secure, it's convenient, and once it's set up, it's usually faster than calling. If you need in-person help, the IRS operates taxpayer assistance centers around the country. You have to make an appointment, but if you're dealing with a complicated issue, it can be worth it to sit down with someone face to face. Look, I get it. Waiting on your tax refund is stressful, especially when you need that money. But the reality is that most refunds do arrive on time. The IRS processed over 160 million tax returns last year, and the vast majority of people got their refunds within the expected time frame. That said, there are things you can do to make the process smoother. File electronically. Use direct deposit. Make sure all your information is accurate before you submit, and if you qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Additional Child Tax Credit, just know ahead of time that your refund is going to be delayed until early March, no matter when you file. And remember, a delay doesn't automatically mean something is wrong. Sometimes it just means the IRS needs a little extra time to process your return. Stay patient, keep checking your status, and if you do run into problems, don't ignore them. The sooner you address an issue, the sooner you'll get your money. If you found this helpful, make sure you stay informed about tax updates and financial tips. The rules change every year, and staying on top of them can save you time, money, and a whole lot of frustration. Good luck, and hopefully your refund lands in your account very soon.